It's been 5 years since we've been to Cuba, so we returned to see how things have changed since the U.S. started easing travel restrictions. We'd also heard that in addition to sharks, there were now opportunities to dive with crocodiles and Goliath groupers. Vamonos! Cuba Sketchbook will introduce our Cuba adventures, beginning in Havana. Most of the legendary American cars of the 50s are just shells now, running on Russian and Japanese engines and trannies, and lots of bondo to keep the rust at bay. 50 years of the U.S. embargo has impoverished Cuba's people and kept the Castros in power. Yet Cubans continue to adapt and move forward with ingenuity, optimism, and hospitality that's their tradition. Baseball is still a national passion, but now some kids have real equipment instead of broomsticks and balls of tape. Two other national passions are music and dancing. From Havana, we moved to the Zapata Peninsula for some birding and cenote diving. The water was so clear it felt like swimming in air. Regulations aren't very strict in Cuba, so our guide took us into the actual cave section, well marked with safety lines. From there it was 50 miles offshore to Jardines de la Reina, a throwback to the Caribbean reefs of 50 years ago. It's a national marine reserve, and poachers don't have the fuel to get out there. The abundance of sharks, large groupers, and healthy reefs is unparalleled in this part of the world. To say I was apprehensive about snorkeling with crocodiles is an understatement. This one is called Nino, but the baby croc was 8 feet long and its teeth were definitely adult size. It's an American crocodile, one of the world's largest species, endangered in the U.S. but common in Cuba's warm waters. It seemed indifferent about us, and when we invaded its personal space, it took off. On our previous trips, sharks were being baited. That's no longer necessary. These days, Caribbean reef sharks just hang around and are part of the scenery. Jardines de la Reina was named by Christopher Columbus in honor of Queen Isabella. This isn't just a paper park. The distance and the low impact of fishing and diving has preserved this archipelago's pristine state. Where there are lots of big groupers and sharks, you know fishing hasn't taken its toll. The biggest of all was a Goliath grouper, some 6 feet long and well over 200 pounds. As long as we made no advances, it continued to hang around. We wondered what the twitching was all about until we noticed the remora harassing it. The numbers and size of lionfish have increased over the last 5 years. Jardines has no human inhabitants on its 150 miles of tiny islands and mangroves. It used to be Fidel Castro's favorite diving place. Tourism is limited to 1,000 divers and 500 catch and release fishermen each year, but that could change at any time. The tourist invasion we anticipated 5 years ago is well underway. We hope Cuba will be able to preserve its unique charm and diversity, both above and below the waterline.